Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and we have the live stream announcement post for this June mid-month update. But really, you could call this the July update because we're already in July, not June, and this is the bulk of the update, not the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Captain America and the Winter Soldier, Disney Plus stuff. So, what's going on? Well, basically, Monday, July 12th is going to be the stream with Cage and Kim that we expect whenever we get in a full update, right? This is a regular old thing, but this time it's in the middle of an update, which is pretty cool. And it's going to happen at the same time, 5 p.m. Pacific, which is 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we get our first look at the new Carol Danvers, the new Captain Marvel uniform, and the new blue Marvel uniform. So we get both of the Marvels here, which is kind of nice and thematic and pretty cool. And they're both looking very nice and very high quality, so really happy about that. Not too much else to talk about as far as the live stream announcement goes. You guys know the drill. The live stream goes up on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. I go, twitch.tv/Cynicalex, and we hit up the live stream and we watch it together. We react together. We dissect it and discuss it together with thousands of people in the community at the same time because the chat's popping off. So honestly, in my opinion, as biased as it is, I think that my Twitch stream is the #1 best place to catch this live stream event, and it should be pretty big because we got 5 new uniforms, 1 new character, and whatever else they want to put out there for us. Keep in mind there will be rewards for this. There'll be like a coupon code, etc. for this one that we didn't have at the beginning of the update at the end of June. Pretty confusing for Captain America and Winter Soldier because there was no live stream for that. So yeah, we're basically just doing everything in reverse order this time. Now, as far as Carol Danvers go, because I think that's really the big question mark. The other characters, Spectrum's going to be a hero for sure. America Chavez, hero for sure. Quasar, hero for sure. Blue Marvel, hero for sure. Right? I'm missing one here. I can't remember who. But Carol is really the one that we're kind of not sure about. So I went ahead and read the series, and it's a very, very short series. So if you wanted to go and read it yourself, you absolutely can. It is Captain Marvel issue 12 from 2019. It is written by, who's it written by? Kelly. Who wrote this one? Kelly Thompson. Sorry, I've read her name hundreds of times. Kelly Thompson, and art by Lee Garbett. So yeah, it starts on issue 12 of Captain Marvel 2019, and it actually only goes for 4 issues. Now, I don't know if this pops up again. To the best of my knowledge, it hasn't popped up again yet. But yeah, as crazy as that sounds, the uniform we're getting, and it's a cool uniform, don't get me wrong. I was just shocked to find out that this uniform and this look for Captain Marvel only survives 4 issues. So it's an extremely short read. And it spans a very short amount of time, and Spider-Man's not even in it, I'll be honest, and neither is Scarlet Witch, but the other ones are. So spoilers ahead, because I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of what happens in these 4 issues. Basically, it's your standard, villain holds something ransom, holds people hostage, and gets the hero to do a bunch of evil, villainous things. And then at the very end, the villain's like, oh, but this was my secret plan all along, surprise. And then the hero has to, defeat the villain at the last minute with some combined heroics. It's very paint by numbers. It's very predictable. I wasn't the biggest fan of the story, I'm not gonna lie. The writing is okay. The artistry, the inks and the colors are really good. But yeah, as far as the story itself goes, I really thought that they could have come up with something better. Because you know what? The craziest thing is, the uniform's really hype. The uniform looks really, really cool. But then the story just doesn't live up to the uniform's hype. And her power level definitely is cool as well. So basically what happens, so I give you guys the synopsis, but essentially what happens is there's this race of super inhumans called Vox. I don't know how long ago they were introduced, but this is one of the Vox. Looks kind of like Black Bolt, but they're like super inhumans. And they're supposed to be the next stage in evolution after Inhumans, right? You have humans, Inhumans, and then Vox are like super Inhumans. So what essentially happens in this storyline is that one of the Vox combines with the supreme intelligence from the Kree timeline, from the Kree race. So you can see there this is supreme intelligence, and that's actually Ronan the Accuser, the Kree judge, bowing and sort of like, listening to the Supreme Intelligence. So Supreme Intelligence plus Vox equals Vox Supreme, not Super Vox. Super Vox sounds like some skater thing. So Vox Supreme is that sort of predator-looking dude. Also kind of looks like Black Bolt on steroids. And so this Vox Supreme guy essentially kidnaps a bunch of camps full of kids that are sort of there, partially responsible. Like, it's partially the Avengers' fault why these kids are in these camps across the Earth. And so he plants bombs there, and he blows one of them up to show Carol that he's not joking around, and Carol feels really guilty. And so Vox Supreme is like, Carol, you're gonna go kill the other Avengers and bring me their bodies, or I'm gonna blow up the rest of these camps. And so Carol, it's pretty messy, but she basically finds out that that someone was creating duplicates of the Avengers, like clones. So she basically goes to each of the Avengers, you know, Thor, Iron Man, Black Panther, Captain America, She-Hulk at this point, and she beats them up, and then she hides them inside Singularity, which is probably the coolest part of the whole thing. Like, I didn't know that you could hide people inside Singularity. Like, she's a moving hidden galaxy, but you can. So that's kind of cool also to see her in a comic, because she's like basically never featured in comics. So Carol is flying the Avengers after beating them up into Singularity, and then flying back to this cloning facility, and then bringing the clone as the dead version of these Avengers to Vox Supreme. But lo and behold, Vox Supreme had another plan all along, and he basically wants to fuse all of the Avengers into this like one Frankenstein's monster type dealy that he can control. And the whole shtick, the whole bit is held together by the fact that the suit that he gives her, it's sort of like a symbiote suit, because she can't control herself when she's using it. Like, the suit literally takes control of her. It even covers up her face, and she can't talk properly, and that's why it looks like that. And so, you know, whenever she's engaging with the Avengers and fighting them, they're always like, I need to see who's behind this mask. Who am I fighting? And then they break open the mask, and they're like, oh, it's Carol. And they're caught off guard, and then she like finishes them off. It's very, very predictable and very like ABCD. So yeah, in the end, Carol semi-transforms, and she's like half Hulk, half Captain America, half Carol, and like Tony's head is sticking out of her shoulder. Sounds kind of cool now that I say it out loud. But anyways, she ends up using Cap's shield. Thor ends up throwing her Mjolnir, and she grabs Mjolnir and she beats up Vox Supreme. Again, it's all very, very straightforward. And then she beats the bad guy and saves the day, and he gets sent off to the raft, which apparently can hold him. And she does a little handshake with Nick Fury, and it's done. I honestly, I went to the can. No insult to the writers or anything, but I went to the can. I read all 4 comics while I was on the can, and then I left the can. And yeah, honestly, man, I was a bit surprised, and it also left me with the idea that like maybe she's not going to be a villain. I don't know. Like, here's the thing. We care from a player perspective because it affects things like ABX and things like now World Boss Legend and Story Mode Fragment Farming, because in the past it didn't really matter, right? Hero or villain, it really did not matter what the character got because there were no restrictions in the game. And the only thing you would say is maybe we're hoping for more villains, and this was like years ago, because Shadowland was actually hard. And we actually needed more villains for Shadowland because there's so many Shadowland stages that require villains as the ones that can deal more damage. But nowadays, with World Boss Legend, and especially if we get another World Boss Legend, a lot of times you have restrictions like, where is it here? Hero, right? You have to bring heroes. And same thing goes for here from Mephisto. So that's really the only that's why it matters to us as players. It also matters to the ABX crowd, who, although they are small, they are ferocious. And they often, speak very loudly. I'm not insulting the ABX community. I'm just saying, like, it's a small group of players, but they're very loud as far as like this character's. Like, they're always very quick and good at identifying new characters that are good for ABX, and so that can create some buzz and some hype around new characters that otherwise wouldn't really be shaking up the meta in too big of a way. You can especially see that with like every single speed villain that comes out. The ABX community of MFF always it's like a trampoline effect. They just like bounce the character up like 1 or 2 hype levels. It's cool. But anywho, the ABX community is sort of looking at this new Carol because she's either going to be a universal hero, which means she can then compete with Scarlet Witch again, right? Because it was Captain Marvel in Endgame for 2 years. And then for the past few months, for the past month and a half, it's been Scarlet Witch, WandaVision, and now it might swap back to being Carol again. Or, if you didn't like that one, or if she's a villain, then she would be potentially competing with either Universal Villain or the Female Villain Day, which I must have cycled through already. Yeah, the Female Villain Day, which means she would be competing with Supergiant, who just came out last update. So that's why I wanted to read the comic run, and that's why I wanted to get a better idea of whether or not she's actually a villain. Again, the devs can do whatever they want. My guess, if I had to guess, they're probably going to interpret her as a villain because she is that's how it's portrayed, and she does do villainous things. Like, she does beat up the Avengers, and she does, although use clones, you know, she plays into the hand of this villain. But at the same time, she's not really a villain. Like, it's established again, it's only a 4 comic run. So it's extremely short. We're talking like less than 100 pages cover to cover. But it's established very early on in the first issue, I believe, or the second issue, that she's doing this sort of against her will, that she's only doing this to protect the children, which is a hero's thing to do. It's not a villain's thing to do. So this is not really the case of other characters who have gone bad in the past. Like, this is not a Superior Iron Man type situation where it's obvious and clear that he's a villain 100%. This Carol is not like Maker, Mr. Fantastic, where he's just like off his rocker, completely insane, body modifying himself, you know, in order to get, like, it's not like that at all, right? We're not even talking about somebody like King Hyperion, like, you know, we're not talking about anything like that. It's not like power corruption or anything like that. She's literally just playing along for the sake of saving these kids. So in my opinion, again, on a personal level, I would just assume she's still a hero. But it's definitely possible that they interpret it as a villain, and maybe that's what Kelly Thompson, the writer, wanted all along, right? They wanted a little spin on the typical very heroic, very selfless Captain Marvel, and wanted to just pit them against the other Avengers for some fun, you know, in some sort of inconsequential battle royale type situation. So yeah, I'm kind of curious what you guys think. I'm also curious what the devs think, if they're going to make her a villain or a hero. But yeah, it is a little bit I don't want to use the word disappointing. I do wish that she had been used in a longer comic run, that there had been something more impactful. You know, Harold Thor had a long run with Donny Cates, right? Immortal Hulk had a long run. I come to find that this character had a 4-issue run. But yeah, it's I mean, it's great that we're getting this character, because if you had told me a year ago, this came out 2 years ago, that this was a 4-run character, you know, that this look was only around for 4 issues, then I would have said we're probably never going to get that as a uniform in Marvel Future Fight, but here we are. On the other hand, I haven't spent any time in the video talking about Blue Marvel. To be honest with you, I have a vague idea of which comic runs Blue Marvel has this look in, but generally speaking, if he's not rocking the vest, this is the look he has. He basically has 2 looks. He has the vest look, which we already have in the game with no cape, and then he has the more traditional sort of Superman-esque look with the cape, and he can sort of have the mask on or have the mask off. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here when we just look up Blue Marvel really quickly. I think I've already showed you guys this with the mask on, but this is with the mask off, of course. And then once in a while he'll have the mask on, and it looks pretty freaky. I have to say, this is a pretty good example of like mask on, mask off type thing. But yeah. So I'm glad, actually, you know what? The one that we have here is different. It's not quite the same. The M is not like that. So we're getting this newer version that is the one that, you know, we see here. Yeah, it's basically this with the cape. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm excited. I mean, he's obviously going to be a hero. There's no question whatsoever. And so I don't really think there's much worth in diving too much into this. Again, the existence of a Blue Marvel uniform and potentially a Blue Marvel Tier 3, a Blue Marvel Transcendence, means that Ant-Man, Nova could be also due for one as well, because they were all packaged together at one point in the same update. The last question I want to hit you guys up with is, with 5 characters, well, with 1 new character and 5 new uniforms, considering that we only have Carol and Black Panther as existing Tier 3s, Blue Marvel, Quasar, and America Chavez, are they all going to get a Transcendence? Is Blue Marvel going to get a Tier 3, and then Chavez and Quasar and Rambeau, Spectrum are going to get a Transcendence, right? how is this one going to play out? Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think and who you think should get what, or if not what, nothing, like Baron Zemo. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.